Hi, this is Sarah from sarayup.com, Facebook, The Numbers Queen, and Instagram, sarayup1111. I'm very excited. I have got Dr. Mahdi Mason on the call today. Hi, Mahdi.
Hi, Sarah. How you going?
Hey.
Hi, everyone out there too.
Oh, yes, everyone watching this, we thank you so much. Mahdi, how do you like to introduce yourself?
I usually call myself a land and property healer. Generally, I consider myself an earth healer, but it's a big generic term there that doesn't mean anything to anyone. So I find that land and property healing is a bit more specific. So basically, I do healings on properties, mainly for people that are living in properties or the land. But people come to me if they can't sell a property, if they are feeling like something's not right in their property, if they have bad neighbours. And the healing that I do is actually really good for non-confrontational sort of moving along. What else do people come to me for? Bad tenants. Basically anything that feels wrong on a property, they'll call in and ask me to do a healing for them.
I love it. It's kind of like Ghostbusters meets The Block or something.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
The strange thing is I think people assume because I do healing and the energetic side of things that, you know, I'm always looking at spirits and ghosts, and it's really not. A lot of it is actually a lot more plain and scientific than that. It's about talking about the energy that, you know, that an old couch or an old building holds, just because how much energy people leave behind in it. It's not so much the ghost side of things.
Yeah, it's sometimes the finger pointing is unnecessary and just superstitious. So Mahdi and I are both environmental scientists. You're highly qualified. You've also got, is it MBA?
Yeah, MBA and DBA.
Yeah. So you know what you're doing. And we met many years ago. So it's about seven years and a bit since we met. And I've always found your work to be very clean energy, very precise, very easy to follow. I'll talk later about some of the reports Mahdi has done for me. And so we know from your date of birth, which we're keeping private, that you are a 32/5 life path. So this is the rebel, the freedom seeker, healing throat chakra in yourself, others, and the planet. How do you relate to this idea of healing this part of your body, the voice, the intuition, the kind of the gypsy, really?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely been a theme of my life. And this coming out of the more healing side and the more intuitive side, up in a family where you couldn't talk about that sort of stuff. It was just forbidden, but I always had these things happen. So I knew that there was more to life than what we could see. So it's always been this struggle of, you know, doing what my family and, you know, I do have an interest in all the environmental science stuff, definitely. But that's the very, you know, walking the path of the standard old way of doing things. Yeah. And then versus coming out and talking about the healing and the energy side of things. So I always felt like I couldn't talk about or be that side of myself that talked about energy and the things that we can't see. So now that I've got older and I can actually make those choices for myself and do whatever I want, that's been the theme of my life, of really being able to express who I am. But I have to say, my family is amazing and I don't have any issues with them. And what I've actually learned, because they did sort of encourage me to suppress that side of myself, the way I communicate with people when I'm teaching them about energy is a very, very basic.
My little baby's having a real moment. I think we may have to bring him on the call. That's all right. This is not exactly the plan.
That's okay.
I'm just going to pause for 1 sec. All right. We have settled the beans. Thanks for sharing about the throat chakra stuff. I mean, 5 is a lot about blending head and heart, new and old. It's all about integration rather than disconnection. So can you tell me, Mahdi, like what happened for you at that adult turning point around 32?
Well, it was really when I started getting more deeply into shamanism and more deeply into my understanding of spirituality. So I did yoga teacher training at that stage, and I started to really get into shamanism, which you know, I'd always had this love of spirituality and healing, but the shamanism is where you start bringing in really all of the earth stuff as well, and really taking care of the earth, which combines my day job side of things and side of things. So I loved it. And also it's serious shit. Like the amount, what you can do with shamanism.
I love that.
So like, yeah, it will open your eyes to what's really going on the planet. So
and where did you learn shamanism, or how did you learn shamanism?
I learned Incan shamanism, and I went through a hike in Peru when I must have been like 32. And yeah, I met a lady that had been doing Munai Kai, which is some Incan shaman rites. I was like, that sounds really cool. So then I came back to Australia. I went to a Mind Body Spirit Festival.
I'm
there was a lady there.
We're just having one of those days.
This is the way it is.
Go with the flow, man. Hashtag mom life once more.
Yeah. What else can happen? Next, the fire alarms will go off.
Oh, don't even. Our fire alarms are linked. Just
yeah, we've been having troubles with ours. Yeah. Anyway, I met a lady that was teaching Incan shamanism, Regita, at Mind Body Spirit Festival, and she taught me the first lot of things that I needed to learn, and then I went over and studied with the Four Winds in Chile for the rest of it. But you know what else I realised? I also met you at 32. We were just
my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Did I sort of get you into the numerology stuff? Can't remember now. You might have been
I was probably attracted to you because of that, but I think I can remember being like younger than that and searching when I was supposed to be working, searching for about finding out about things. So it was really that I had an interest in it, and then you were teaching it. So yeah, then I met you.
I do meet a lot of people at their turning points. I like to say I deal in the big stuff. I'm easily, you know, I've got that low boredom threshold, but that's a really, really profound things that happen. Thank you for sharing. And so 5 would have been your childhood turning point, probably starting school, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can remember. I was thinking about when you were talking today about what happened at 5, and I think that was really where I got to an age where I was conscious enough to understand when I was hearing spirits and seeing things and having experiences that it wasn't perhaps what everyone else could.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that was really about that time that started hearing my name being called when I was.
Oh, I just read about that. I've been, you know, tuning into this interview for a while, and they do say, you know, when the self calls, it's really when it's something vital. And I've personally had a couple of times in my life where I had something I knew I needed to do it, and then it's only when like a voice called my name and I woke up and just got on the phone.
Yeah,
it's really that kind of last minute, like last resort, but it's so powerful. You never forget it.
Yeah. No.
Well, thanks for sharing, because, you know, a lot of my work is now these days a lot about parent and child work. And I think it's really important to understand that children have that turning point, you know, really early these days, especially. And that, I mean, obviously there's a strong consistency between those 2 ages, you know, understanding that you have these abilities and then being able to actually express them. So that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Now, we know 2021's been a 5 universal year for the planet, and we're certainly seeing the themes, you know, the truth and freedom and speaking up and having to, you know, kind of see both sides and find the middle path. It's very in our faces, isn't it? So has it been big for you? Because you're also in a personal 9 year. I mean, you've really, it's like double whammy for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. When I first realized that this was going to be a 5 year, I was really excited because I love change and I love like everything that goes along with 5s. Yeah. But it has not been an easy year.
Yeah, no, it hasn't.
Yeah, and it's been a culmination of the 5. So, you know, finding my own voice, but then also needing to let go of things.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm still in it. I'm still in that 9 years. So there's still more to come.
That's right. Yeah. And it's yeah, no, I can imagine. And I know for me, the 9 year was where I actually learned past life regression. That's another video I'm releasing soon with Tony Riley, who's also a 5.
I love Tony.
Yeah, and the past life stuff definitely got me through that tough time. And then I fell pregnant, was able to have a child. So for me, there was this amazing positive straight after, which I imagine will be the case for you. Now, I wanted to show the audience that we got on the call today, and then we realized we had these necklaces and very similar garb, and that's perfect, isn't it? And it just shows, you know, love love transcends all boundaries. And when you're on the same frequency, it doesn't matter in a way if you're, in some ways, if you're dead or alive or what planet or what age, there's this ability to still communicate and receive the messages, which I think is so comforting, especially at a time like this when a lot of us feel that we are being separated from each other. And it's nice to know that there's still that grapevine, literally kind of like what's behind me.
Yeah.
The network of trees.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next final question, actually. So, you know, I love wordplay, and I love that Earth is actually heart rearranged. That's always, I only find that out recently, and I was like, that is so beautiful, you know, that this is our portal to the planet.
Definitely.
I personally have talked to trees since I was a little girl. I often felt like I couldn't relate to people that well. I was growing plants since I was, like 4 or 5, and I used to have this massive seedling garden that was so big my parents tripped over when they went outside. They're like, too many seeds, Sarah. And it's like, you know, that's me, so many ideas, right? So I talk to trees every day and actually write down what they tell me. And even as recently as a couple of weeks ago, I went to the tree where we got married. Chris and I got married in front of a beautiful tree at Daisy Hill Reserve in Brisbane. And I prayed to it, asked it for advice on my marriage. You know, are you someone who talks to trees? Because I felt that sort of kinship with you when I met you. There was a lot of respect for the so-called inanimate objects.
Yeah. I guess my advice to people would be, if you want to connect more with trees, first acknowledge that they are there, because I think, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, we spend our lives walking past these things all the time. We don't even acknowledge they're living things. So if you open up that connection more, first acknowledge them. And so I think it's really important everywhere you can. You're always being watched in nature by really beautiful
So true.
But be kind. Be kind. Help if you see things, you know, that where something could get hurt, a little insect can get hurt, move it. Or, you know, don't use pesticides all the time. Just every act of kindness to nature, I think, is always acknowledged. So, yeah. And, of course, the number one thing to do is spend more time in nature. If you want to be more connected to nature, spend more time in it.
Oh, totally. And, last night, the last thing my boys asked me to do was to read the Lorax to them, which is
that's
a
nice.
long Dr. Seuss book, but isn't it so beautiful? And how
they knew that. They didn't want to go to sleep, so they just picked the biggest one they could.
Oh, kids. Don't you just love them? And, of course, that's an environmental book. And it talks about how, you know, they lose the whole forest, but there's this seed that comes back. And I feel that a lot of the new children coming through bring a lot of seeds of hope, and they know in some ways the old society is dying and being destroyed. But I feel that they would only come here, and such beautiful, powerful children are coming because they truly believe that the world is going to be better. And I mean, personally, as someone who does predictions, I'm feeling that's about 5-6 years away still.
But
I guess
but it's there.
I feel like children would not be coming here of this caliber if they didn't think it was worth it. And that's how I look at it. It's just like if you had a company and you saw these, you know, new recruits were coming in with big sparkly eyes. It feels like there's some sort of message there.
Yeah, definitely.
So if someone wants to talk to their house, I mean, this is something I do. Personally, I just worked with my house to get a new lease in a fairly difficult environment. I've sometimes worked with clients, not quite as formally as you, but, you know, how do you talk to a house? Do you just talk to it? Do you like set up a grid to talk to it? What do you do?
No, usually if I'm healing a property for someone, they'll send me a map of it and some photos, and I'll just tune in, and it's all about how I feel in that place. So I'm not actually asking questions or anything. It's all about how I feel. Is there an area that feels gross and dark? Is there a place where it's just stagnant and I can't feel flow? So it's really just feeling in there. And of course, a place that feels nice for someone might not feel nice for someone else.
True.
It's not always that, you know, if you feel uncomfortable in a place that it's a bad place or has really dead energy, it just might be that it's not really, you don't resonate with that place.
Totally. And that's so beautiful. That's a lovely, soft, forgiving way to interact with people on the planet, is that it's just not always a match at the time.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I thought we'd start winding up. I wanted to just do a bit of a flash So you do these property healing reports. And I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm talking to you is I do talk to my clients about this, and it's nice to put the face to the name. So you've done them for all the places I've lived in. This is one of them for where I live, which is, it's on the Google Maps, but it's no secret. And so you will go through and write a little report about what you find, and then essentially recommend certain crystals or changes be made. And I wanted to, just mention, so you sent this to me in June 2020. I only finished all of the updates in the last month because every time I would do them, something would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that's kind of cool, because for me as a scientist, I do like to have like some sort of proof.
Yep.
So yeah, we put the crystals out. That was okay. But things like you asked us to pressure clean where there had been a lot of renovations and perhaps not quite as much love. So, and where the trees had been sawed and not without much regard for them. And it's interesting because I could feel that. So we got the pressure clean done, and I was actually sick. I didn't realize you had to kill the mold first, supposed to wear a mask. I just, gung-ho, Sarah. It's interesting because the guy who came to do it, he actually picked up that there is a big alleyway for spirit. You talked about a big energetic tunnel through the reading room, and he picked up on it, talked about a lot of Indigenous energies. That was exactly what you said. That was interesting. Yeah, so I did get sick for quite some time, a huge amount of clearing, and then a lot of good things have happened after that. And then so I think it's probably why I hesitated a bit. But the last thing to do was the suncatcher. So I found it, and then I found myself reluctant to put it up. And then, of course, I put it up, and then I got that ding, kind of like an oven clock, right? And I went, oh, goodness me, they're going to sell the house. Which has happened to us a number of times. We move in, do all these clearings, and then ding. Anyway, so I emailed the property manager. We're on really good terms. She's lovely. And I said, oh, what's going on? And she's like, oh, yeah, we're looking at selling. We've got some offers already. I'm like, wow. Like they've already got offers. It wasn't even so. Anyway, I was straight in there, looking at mortgages, negotiating. And at this point, we've released. We're going to release for a year. But isn't that fascinating, don't you think? So I feel like the report for me was this wonderful invitation to really commit to this place, get to know it. It was a lot about, it's kind of like when you get a birth chart for your baby. Like I love doing that. I love having a baby and then being like, wow, what cool stuff are we going to do together?
Yeah, that's what houses are like. They've all got their own things going on.
So do you get feedback like that when you do those charts?
Yeah, often the biggest feedback comes like if someone's trying to sell a place or get new tenants, and it'll be like, it's been on the market for 6 months, nothing happens. And then within a day, or they'll be looking for tenants, nothing for ages, and then they'll have 8 in the space of a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's not like that every single time. Sometimes I do clearings and it's quite, it takes people a few months to feel or see the difference. But yeah, often I'll get, instant results like that.
It's amazing just that, putting the intention down, the money down, the time down, and getting someone to do it who's really objective. I think it makes sense that it would cause a big shift, because often I think the reason a property is not selling or things are not moving is there's a unconscious holding on from the person involved. And it's too painful for them. It's, like they say, it's like doing your own dental work. It's too painful for them to get in there.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. There's a lot of cord cutting that goes on.
Yeah, well, so I've really enjoyed this process. And, I also get my other lady dinners to do it, and you work similar but different. I love both of you so much.
I'm going to meet her one day.
Oh, yeah.
I always see her work through you. I love to meet her.
Yeah, so you're both similar. That's the funny thing. And people are like, well, why do you have 2? And I'm like, well, why not? And also, I love the fact that I could get kind of both of you to do it and then sort of get a lot of consistency. And for me, that's, again, like a proof thing, which helps me as I guess you'd say, a bit of a skeptic still. But yeah, what I love especially is just it's all dot points. And I think for my brain, that's just really like tick the boxes. And that's kind of how I do my readings as well. I like a lot of documents. So anyway, thanks for doing that, because I really enjoyed over the years as you've even done this on some of my family's properties. Yeah, and that's right. I always feel this sense of hope, I think, when I do it. There's a sense of like, we're not stuck with this issue forever.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, is there anything that people could know about you, you know, going forwards that you've got planned for next year?
Well, I am starting to teach how other people can do land healing next year, land and property healing. So I'll be starting that. It'll probably be February before I start running the courses, but that's the big thing for next year, teaching other people how to do it.
Amazing.
So if you're interested in it, you are meant to do it. I think there will be some people like, oh, I'm not into healing. I'm not, I don't know, whatever. But everybody does it their own special way. So if you're interested in it, I'm sure you are meant to be a land and property healer. So.
Oh yeah. I totally think, you know, this is one of the reasons I've been doing videos with all my network. Firstly, because I want people to see that I have one. It's not just me. I want to break down that whole pedestal thing. But secondly, I know all the people I work with, I love that they're all really open, just like the same way I share my numerology on my website and through, you know, webinars, Patreon. And I feel like it does belong to the people.
Yeah,
I charge for my sessions privately because it's, you know, time from my kids and my, you know, my life.
And a lot of energy. Yep.
It sure is, especially, you know, I like to get really big results. But I love that you have that education focus. I think that's something we really have in common.
Yeah.
And you do books and all kinds of things and talks. So, yeah, it's something I really like about you, Mahdi.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love everything that you do, obviously.
And,
hey, I did want to tell you something for all of your community, because this is something that uplifts me. You know, like we're always looking for number signs. I'm always I love seeing fives because to me that means like but a couple of weeks ago, and I'd been saying to Spirit over and over, when is it going to change? Like, you know, it's something that annoying me.
It's definitely time for a reading.
Yes.
We're going to do an update,
Yeah. Then I saw this number plate, 555 MOL. So the way I read it was 555 mole, like it's coming. Spirit was joking with me as if to say, okay, we know it's coming, just wait. So anyway, I thought that you and your community would love that more than most.
You are so hilarious. I always see 555s when I'm going to talk to a 5. And
there you go.
The last one I saw, I remember 555 iwi, IWI, and I think that was a Maori word, and it had a really deep meaning to the people I was talking to. Wow. But yeah, I'm really pleased that you are speaking numbers, and I'm excited that I'm increasingly starting to speak land. Mm-hmm. And I hope that we will continue to cross-train each other over the years. So, I guess we'll wind this up, but how can people find out about you? What's your website and details?
It's just drmahdimason.com.
So, and how do you spell your name?
Well, it's Mahdi, which everyone always gets the D and the H mixed up. But anyway, it's drmahdimason.com.
Okay, cool. I'll put that in the link.
Yeah, cool.
No worries. Well, Mahdi, I'm sure we'll see you again, especially once your course is up and running. Thanks for all the great work you're doing. And let's hope that people start, you know, talking to their tree friends from now on, because honestly, there's so much wisdom, so much patience, kindness, and love that's just right there in front of their windows waiting for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.